special executive session. She's got it.
Let's go ahead and call the board meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the meeting for the Marion School Board this evening. If there's anybody from the public that would like to speak tonight, there are comment cards, read comment cards in the back of the room. Please give to our board clerk, Mrs. Rose, as soon as possible. There's also a list of reminders regarding the rules for public participation on the back table. Please make sure you review those before commenting. We're going to start and recognize a real special treat for us tonight. Our I Read 3 Perfect Score recipients for the 2024-2025 school year. So, Mrs. Smith from Allen Elementary School, you're going to come up first.
Good evening. We are thrilled to present this recognition, and being alphabetical, Alan, I get to go first. We had a student who scored a perfect score on her iRead. We are so excited tonight. We have some Allen representatives to help cheer her on. Her classroom teacher, Ms. Vermillion, is here, along with our general cheering squad from Allen. So it's my honor to present this recognition to Serenity Fetts.
Miss Jones from Kendall Elementary will come up next.
All right, and we also had a perfect score. Sanaya Shrivastava is here tonight with her mom and dad.
I believe Miss Aguilar from our curriculum director is going to present for Francis Slocum this evening.
All right, Francis Slocum had 3 perfect scores last year. First, we have Malachi Pritchett. Next, William Balash. And then our last one, Alani Cron.
Congratulations to all of our elementary schools, and particularly all the students and teachers that were working so hard to make this happen. Let's get a quick picture of all of them. Why don't you guys come up here in front of us, and the board will stand behind you here. Come on back right in front of us here, you guys. Congratulations. Come stand right here, just along the front, and then you'll face out that way so we can get a picture of you guys.
Out this way.
Squeeze on in there.
Smile real pretty. Here, hold it down just a little bit so we can see
your face.
Your face. There you go.
Right, I'm gonna take a picture and then I'll get out of the way for your parents and family, okay? Awesome.
All right, everybody stay still for a minute. Sneak on up, parents, you're all right.
Very good.
You come on up wherever you need to be.
Okay.
Yeah. All of you that were here to celebrate our iReaders that have done so well, you are free to leave at this point of the meeting. There's a lot to do, so you're welcome to stay. There's some really exciting stuff that we're going to go over, but we will not think it's rude of you at any time in the next 5 minutes if you need to stand up and head out on the other things. But thank you so much, parents and kids, for making us look so good. Thank you. We'll move forward. We'll move forward with our consent agenda. Item 22-166, minutes from the work session held 8/7/25, 25-167, minutes of the executive session held on 8/12/25, 25-168, minutes of the regular meeting held on 8/12/25, 25-169, minutes of the executive session on 8/14, 25-170 personnel report, 25-171 expenditure approval list, 25-172 financial reports, 25-173 acceptance of donations, 25-174 field trip out of state MCS cheerleaders, 25-175 permission for disposal recycling as stated, 25-167 revised Grant County special service agreement, 25-177 approval of Head Start continuation grant for 25-26, and 25-178 requisition to raise funds for the boys and girls tennis team. Do we have any members of the public that are here to speak on any of these issues? Seeing none, Superintendent Lockwood, is there a recommendation?
Vice President Beck, I recommend that the board approve with one motion and one vote the consent agenda items 25-166 through 25-178 as presented.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the board on any of these items? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mrs. Rose.
Mrs. Pinto? Aye. Mr. Delgado?
Aye.
Mrs. Gold?
Aye.
Dr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Griffin?
Aye.
And Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to our public hearing for our 2025 general obligation bonds. At this time, we'll open the meeting for a public hearing to explain the potential value of the 2025-2026 district-wide facility improvement and equipment and vehicle bus acquisition project to the school corporation and the community, and regarding the matter of appropriating the proceeds of the 2025 general obligation bonds and investment earnings thereon. All interested parties are entitled and encouraged to attend to present their testimony and ask any questions relative to the 2025-26 district-wide facility improvement and equipment and vehicle bus acquisition project or the 2025 general obligation bonds. That's a mouthful. Okay. We'll have our CFO, Kyle Mealy, speak on this topic for us.
I want to also introduce Jeffrey Quackenbush, who does our bond counsel, and online is Brent Hobbaker from Baker Tilly listening, so they do some of our financial consulting as well. And why we're here is that obviously we're required by law to review our proposed bond project. This is going to give the board and the public transparency of what we're planning and how much we're going to borrow and really what the tax impact will be. So we'll get into that right now. You can see on your screen. We currently have several series of bonds that are outstanding from 2019 through the 2024 issues, plus a 2023 GEO bond. Our annual debt service payments total about $5.7 million in 2025, but they will decline significantly in the years that follow. That natural drop-off in payments will create space for us to consider new bonds without increasing the overall tax rate. So on the illustration you see up there, you see a line that starts from 2025 and extends on through. The last date underneath there is 2034, and then the last four, obviously. But you can see as the debt is going to slowly decrease and roll off, we'll have room inside of that to continue to work with our debt service in a way that we're managing our debt that doesn't impact the tax rate, but allows us to continue with a lot of our facility maintenance and upgrades that are necessary over time. The Indiana law caps the general obligation, which are your GEO bonds that you hear them say, at 2% of our certified net assessed value. So for in 2025, that was about $8.8 million. After accounting for what we already owe, we have about $5 million in available capacity. And so that's what we're going for in this series of bonds. It's just around $5.1 million. In fact, our proposed bond issuance would be, and you can see that right here, it's going to be your bottom line. You can see what we've had in our debt lease limit, and you can see what we just bonded for in 2023, and that's why we have the borrowing amount of $5.13 million. I would say our net projected proceeds are about $4.95 million after costs that are your bond issuance costs. The repayment term is going to be 7 years and 2 months. You'll see that in line 3 right there. And the estimated interest expense is about $1.23 million. Tax impact, this estimated increase in the debt service tax rate should be a 0 impact. So in other words, the bond can be absorbed without raising the tax rate above what's already scheduled. Some context dealing with Senate Enrolled Act 1, which is your new property tax law. Since that was passed, it changed homestead deductions, business personal property rules, and agricultural assessments, and those changes may slow our growth in our assessed value and could put upward pressure on rates in future years. But for now, our plan assumes that there's no change in the net assessed value after 2025. But remember that actual results could shift with future valuations. So, kind of look at the existing and proposed debt service lease rental payments. Again, you can see that they're going to slowly decline, so that gives the board more capacity going forward. Once we issue this, we're going to be meeting that just about under our $8.8 million capacity. So, but this should help us with a lot of the projects that we've already discussed and we have proposed in phase 1 and phase 2. I know I shared some of those with you, but I would definitely share those now. We have roofing projects. We have restroom projects at all elementaries. We have general maintenance, as in paving of all of our parking lots and facilities. We have athletic facilities that need resurfaced, like our tennis courts. I know we have some issues at our softball field that we want to work on. And so there are a lot of projects that we would generate out of this bond. And keep in mind, we also still have that anywhere from $2.5 to $3 million or $3.5 million in circuit breaker losses. Yeah. So your debt service is a way for you to recapture some of those lost revenues. And that's really what we utilize this for.
Real quick, how much has our assessed value overall probably changed in the last 5 to 10 years? Do you have any idea?
I can definitely get that for you. I had that in the budget presentation.
Well, and that's okay, and I don't need the answer right now today. I guess my question would be, would we anticipate that $8,000 cap or $8 million cap increasing in the next 5 years to where that would?
What we're hearing is that you're not going to see the assessed value increase that you have seen in the past. There were years where we had throughout the state dramatic increase in assessed value.
Okay, that was my question, because that could make a big difference on future.
We're hearing from legislators that we shouldn't anticipate that kind of growth in our assessed value.
Okay, thank you.
So key takeaways: by issuing this $5.13 billion bond in 2025, we can fund needed projects while keeping the tax rate level. Our debt schedule is structured so the payments layer in as older bonds are paid off. And this is a responsible use of bonding capacity, balancing facility needs with our taxpayer impact. So that is the presentation that I have. I want to thank Jeff and Brent for their work in helping us with this. I want to make sure that, of course, being in person and Brent being online, just if you have any questions, but I just appreciate all their time in helping us work on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mealy. Are there any comments or questions from the public regarding this? Any board questions or comments for any of the three of them? Thank you so much. If there's no further questions from the board, I will officially close the public hearing. Moving on to our action items this evening, issuance of general obligation bonds. Superintendent Lockwood, is there a recommendation?
Vice President Beck, I recommend that the board approve with one motion and one vote to approve the issuance of a general obligation bonds.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Bento?
Aye.
Mr. Delgado?
I abstain.
Mrs. Gall?
Aye.
Dr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Griffin?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to 25-181, appropriations of the 2025 general obligation bonds. Superintendent Lockwood, is there a recommendation?
Vice President Beck, I recommend that the board approve with one motion and one vote to approve the appropriations of 2025 general obligation bonds.
Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Can I get a second, please? Second. Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bento?
Aye.
Mr. Delgado?
I abstain.
Mrs. Gall?
Aye.
Dr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Griffin?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 25-182, acceptance, to accept the agreement of the donation of real property of the Boys and Girls Club. Are there any members of the public to speak this evening? Okay. Superintendent Lockwood, is there a recommendation?
Vice President Beck, I recommend that the board approve with one motion and one vote to accept the agreement of donation of real property of the Boys and Girls Club.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Mrs. Bento?
Aye.
Mr. Delgado?
Aye.
Mrs. Gall?
Aye.
Dr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Griffin?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion items this evening, we'll start with the transportation presentation by Mr. Tinker. If you want to come on up, our transportation director will be giving a presentation this evening.
How's everybody doing? Is everybody hungry, ready to get out of here? 'Cause I know I'm ready for some tacos in a few minutes. But on a serious note, when I took over as Director of Transportation, on day one, my focus was to build a one team, one dream, one giant motto. And tonight, I just want to acknowledge the one giant portion of my phrase that I've been saying every single day since I started. So I want to have some drivers come up that I just want to acknowledge tonight. So Carrie and Kim and Linda, the dream team. As these drivers come up, one thing that I wanted to focus on was acknowledging those drivers for their years of service and their hard work and dedication to Marion Community Schools and the families that they've had an impact on generations now. So without further ado, the first person I'm going to introduce.
Carrie Pavey.
Okay, Carrie Pavey. Everybody knows Carrie, but Carrie Pavey has 30 years of service to Marion Community Schools. And then we also have our amazing former trainer, still trainer. We're going to get her back to training, but Kim Marshall, and she has 25 years of service in Marion Community Schools. And before I talk about the amazing Gail Ball, I'm going to highlight two people who are not here tonight. The first person that's not here tonight is a Courtney Workings, and she received the Heart of a Giant Award. And I was really looking for drivers who made an impact in the lives of their children, drivers who attend their child sporting events, games, who's invested in their families. And Courtney Workings is not here, but she received the Giant of a Heart Award. Another person who is not here tonight to receive her award is Trish, who's a bus aide who received 26 years of service to Marion Community Schools. So without further ado, I would like to introduce introduce Ms. Gail Ball. She has a lifetime of a service award. Ms. Gail, when did you start working here?
1978.
1978. So she was his lifetime of a John Award. Thank you. It's taco time?
Thank you.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Well, we're getting closer. Thank you so much, Mr. Tinker. Hey, ladies, you want to come up so we can get a picture with you two real quick?
Say again?
We have the three of the ladies come up, and Mr. Tinker, why don't you come up and join them? Come on up front, right in front of us. Come on, right up front here.
I can't even drive 2 kids in a car. You probably said that years ago.
17 more years, Carrie.
Only 17.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will say you guys are kind of the front line for us. You're the first person that a lot of our kids see and the last person they see in the evenings. I know Carrie has probably transported my wrestlers for the last 25 years that I've been coaching, so it's been a long road with her, with myself as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. The next portion will be our I3 presentation. Ms. Aguilar, our K through 8 curriculum director, will give us a presentation at this time.
Come on up. All right, so before we get started, again, I have to give another shout out to our bus drivers. I think Carrie Pavey was bus 66 at Allen when I was a teacher there, and so it made an incredible impact, and forever thankful for our bus drivers. I also want to have another student that showed up just a little bit late this evening. Lillian Baylash had a perfect score. And Lillian is a 3rd grader this year and was a 2nd grader last year.
Yeah. Hey, before you leave, I want you to come up and we'll get a picture with just you. We'll get a special one.
Yeah, get her.
Come on up real quick. Come up with us.
Let's do a picture.
You're going to stand right in front of me.
Right here. Come right here.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Very proud of you.
There you go. You can stand with the
She's gonna hold the camera right there, and you're gonna smile.
Smile big, baby.
All right.
Put your thing down so we can see her there.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, so kind of before we get started here, I want to tell a little bit of a story. I want to take us back to June 17th, June 18th. It was the last day of summer school, okay? And we were telling students after that last round of intervention that they had passed the assessment, okay? I was standing in the hallway with some instructional coaches, as well as Michelle Smith was there as well. And you would have thought that our students, once we told them that they passed because they'd worked so hard over summer school, you would have thought they won a Super Bowl. They were running up and down the hallway. They were jumping, excited. One little boy bust into tears. So as we tell this data story, I just want to make sure that we remember the kids that are behind it and the lives that are impacted through the work that has happened from our teachers and from our leaders. We have some incredible educators in this district, and the more that I've been able to get out into classrooms and around to our district, it is incredible the things that our teachers do and the way that they invest in our kids. And so throughout this, you're going to hear that. We're going to start a little bit with some numbers, and then we're each going to kind of take a turn talking about the things that are happening in our buildings. This hopefully is going to feel like a huge celebration. There is so much to celebrate with our iRead results. If you look here on this slide, it takes us back to kind of COVID time when we started right around 65% of our students passing iRead. And if you know anything about that assessment, it's a foundations assessment, synonyms, antonyms, and then it goes into comprehension. But students have to do it all by themselves. And so in those numbers, you can see things like students really struggling to read, but also struggling with confidence, struggling with stamina, struggling with the belief that they could do it. And you can see over the years, and ending this last year, it's just been a steady incline, all the way up to 86% of our students passing. That is a phenomenal number, and I just want to sit on that for a minute. That is so many of our students passing that iRead assessment and believing that they can. And that has been a huge part of it as well. Here, we're going to highlight individual buildings by themselves. The amazing thing about this is it's not one isolated building. It's all 4 buildings making steady growth over a period of time. Shout out to Allen Elementary in the back there. Yeah, who was our building at 90%. Riverview and Francis Slocum at 87%, and Kendall at 80%. Just steady growth across. And on the next slide, what I really want to show there is across our subgroups, you're also going to see that steady growth, okay? But the thing that I really want to point out is the growth in our special education students as well. There's something special when you step into our schools. There is a belief that every single student, no matter the life that they come from, no matter what happens outside of our buildings, that they have the right to read and to be proficient readers. And we want to make sure that all of our students believe that in themselves and that they see it in their classrooms. And I think this slide here kind of tells that story. We believe in all kids. We believe in all kids. We believe in providing best possible for all of our kids. So Michelle's going to come up and talk a little bit about some changes that we made instructionally as to why we saw some of that growth.
I believe a year ago or so, maybe not quite a year ago, we came to you and shared some of these things that we were working on, and now we can say it worked. Okay, so just to recap some of the things that we talked about last year and we're still continuing into this year, one of the big focuses was to strengthen our Tier 1 instruction. We knew that we had to make sure our students were actively reading more and more in order to achieve the gains that they needed to achieve. And part of that is also aligning with science, the science of reading. Science-aligned practices are so important, making sure we're covering all of the pieces that go into skilled readers. So those first 2 things we definitely collaborated on together throughout the year and quickly saw the gains throughout the year, and then of course the great results at the end of the year. Another big part of what we did is collecting and analyzing specific data to identify those precise skill gaps. Never before have we been able to pinpoint so directly what skills needed to be developed, and I know that made a tremendous difference for our students, and still is, because obviously we're continuing these practices. And as we identify those skill gaps, making sure we are intentionally grouping and being strategic about who is getting what instruction and how to make sure those gaps are closed quickly. I know one part of that is making sure that we don't isolate the skills, but teach the skill and then immediately apply it to reading and writing. So that really multiplied the gains that we saw. Ongoing progress monitoring and frequent regrouping, we made sure to close the gaps quickly and then regroup and move on to the next skill. Rather than kind of taking a longer 5 to 6 week approach, it was more like a 3-week cycle approach so that we could see those gains faster. Along the way, I already mentioned the principal team would continuously get together and check how is it going, what do we need to concentrate on, who's seeing more gains, what are we doing, what are you doing, you know, we're just really great about sharing what's working well. The other big change was being so intentional with our summer school instruction. We did trainings with the teachers at the beginning of summer school. We were very specific about what pieces of instruction they needed to have and how they would monitor the progress and the gains throughout that summer school process. And we were very proud of our teachers and our students because they gave it their all and it was successful. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been asking for teacher and instructional coaches, academic specialists. We've been congratulating them and celebrating and sharing in the win that we have across our district with our iRead scores. And so we ask a few teachers, coaches, academic specialists to share some quotes on some things that they felt like contributed to that growth, but then also how they're feeling about this huge accomplishment. And so you'll see there on the screen, I'm just going to point out some key phrases that stood out to me in some of those quotes. And so third grade teacher Lauren Vermillion from Allen, she said that this year, her students took ownership of their reading. And so students taking ownership in the classroom, like we heard, they were so excited about their growth for themselves. And so students taking ownership over their reading this past school year helped contribute to that. She went on to say that they wanted to become great readers and wanted to be successful. Every day we were intentional about our reading goals and standards. And so people were extremely intentional with those things. And then our next teacher, Anna King, a third grade teacher at Francis Slocum, she said, we meet students where they are, and it's about more than a test. It's about setting them up for a lifetime of confident reading. And so student ownership, being intentional, and helping students to be confident in their ability to read has all contributed to that success. Stacy James, third grade teacher at Riverview, said their success is a true statement to the teamwork between students, teachers, and families. It's not just the leaders, just the teachers, just the coaches, just the parents. It is a village helping our babies to know how to read with confidence. And then an instructional coach, Brenda Cooper from Allen, she said our students began believing in themselves because we believed in them. And so shout out to everyone that made this possible for our students. I'm not sure who has the clicker. Next slide. And so as we continue to celebrate and recognize everyone that has contributed, our teachers and interventionists, they put in tireless work in order to close that gap and push students forward in their growth. Our support staff, such as EAs, academic specialists, they're behind the scenes, but they're consistent for our students, making that additional learning possible for them. Principal and leadership teams creating clear vision, holding everyone accountable to that vision, and then cheering them on, providing encouragement. Families and community partners coming alongside of us, reinforcing the learning and building that strong home to school connection and relationships. Our students, they persevered, they're resilient, and they take pride in their success. And so across our schools, we are one Marion. And so you heard Ms. Aguilar talking about leaders coming together, or Ms. Smith, on a regular basis, looking at the data, sharing ideas. What are you doing over there that might be contributing? Because we want to do that here too, because we want all students, the inclusivity piece, all students to succeed across those subgroups. And then also something we saw in this last year was the growth mindset in everyone that's participating, knowing that we might not have it yet, but it's coming. And so we worked hard to help people develop and grow in their mindsets. And so that is just proof that with the right support, every student can thrive. And so we're super excited. I see a lot of teachers and coaches and people out there that has helped us to make it possible
for students. And so Mrs. Jones is going to come and share some next steps and how we're moving forward with our reading.
So where do we go next? We're going to continue to build on our Tier 1 instruction. We know that's going to cover 90% of our kids. How do we focus on the Tier 1 daily instruction that we get every kid every day? And then how do we continue to focus on those kids who need a little extra? How do we get them into specific groups? How do we have that intentional focus with regrouping, intervention strategies? How do we get them additional support outside of the school day with tutoring? Our teachers have been phenomenal of donating and spending time and continuing to work hard to get extra tutoring to kids, send packets home, work with families and say, read this passage. When they come in tomorrow morning, I'll sit with them for the first 10 minutes and I'll ask them questions. You just read it at home with them. I don't need you to be a professional reader. I just need you to read it at home with them and I'll ask them the questions when they come in. And then continue to strengthen that family and community partnership. I know there's lots of, if you are unaware, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is now in Indiana. So we're going to have a lot of opportunities with some new books coming to the community. I think that'll be a great opportunity for families to have books at home and then continue to hope for higher and higher scores in 2026.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's super exciting to see the growth. I can't even tell you how much the board has been talking amongst each other about it and the community is talking about it. It's not going unnoticed. If you kind of look at our enrollment, a lot of our numbers that have moved up enrollment is in our elementary schools because I think the public is confident and comfortable. And I'm super excited that our kids are excited. I'm super excited that our teachers are excited. And this is such a big foundation in the next pieces of our puzzle. So
Yeah.
We want to recognize our team back here. They don't want to come all the way up here, but come on.
And I want to say something to you guys too. I mean, this journey for us started about 4 years ago, and I can remember sitting around these tables in this boardroom with the principals and talking about the science of reading and starting that training. And we went into this whole idea that we were going to change perception of what was happening here at Marion Community Schools and let people know with full confidence that our kids can read.
Yeah.
And we're proud that our kids can read.
Absolutely.
Our kids are happy that they we started for sustainability. Our principals and our instructional coaches worked hard to understand and learn that process and then bring it into the building to the teachers. And, I want to look at the teachers in the eye and say, I know it wasn't easy every day. I was an elementary principal, so I know my third grade teachers have a tough task ahead of them. They do more testing in third grade than they do in any other grade level, and that's really the first year that kids have the test. So kudos to you guys. Pat yourselves on the back every day you walk through the door. You guys have done amazing work along with your other colleagues that haven't been here, and I could not be prouder to work with the best group of teachers that I think that are around and have been so dedicated to our kids and have proved that with your communication and your hard work and all the time that you have given. So be very, very proud of yourselves and know our kids can read and you guys played a major part of it. So
That's right.
I appreciate you.
yeah, let's do one more picture because this is huge. Come up, ladies. Come on up.
Olivia Rice back there, our Director of Special Education.
I think you all should come up. Yes.
Because she sat in on all those intervention conversations, helping us explain.
Just come on in the front. You're fine.
Oh, come on, guys. You gotta stand in front. You guys are all fine.
You're fine.
Be proud. You're representing
You are
your
front line.
Hold your heads up high. Be proud.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, ladies.
You just by yourself. I'll ask. I'm the president of the day. I can do that. The exciting part about those is it's not just numbers that we're seeing go up. Like every time you see a number that goes up, those are kids. Those are our kids that you have changed and altered the rest of their lives. I mean, and it's hard to even comprehend how big that is, that you're not just changing the number on, oh, we went up 15%, but every one of those percentages, several kids that you have changed their lives and their confidence, their ability to grow, their ability to learn and function in this community and out in the world. That's so big. Do not ever underestimate how big of an impact you have made in the short amount of time that you guys have been throwing at it. So keep it up. Thank you so much. All right, well, that is exciting. Let's move forward to 25-185, our football field and track improvements. Mr. Mealy, our CFO, will be presenting on that this evening.
Well, yeah, I think, well, for the board, there should be enough for each board member here tonight to see the design. So, yeah, I'm coming to you with some numbers from Moats, which is the synthetic turf company that we've used when we installed the turf, I believe, about 12 years ago. And the turf is still passing on the impact testing, but it's near the end of life. But we want to thank, first of all, the Moats company for all their hard work in keeping that. They give it a lifespan of about 10 years, and this one's in 12, and it's still passing the impact testing, and that's the most important thing. But, so the design you can see, this was the input by Steve Moritz, the athletic director, and the track coaches and the football coaches, and they all met when we had the meeting out at the field this summer. We discussed replacement of the existing synthetic turf as our base bid, and so that base bid, it should be in your packet, that would be replacement of existing synthetic turf system, installation of what's called Moats CrossFlex 41 dual fiber turf system. And it would also include a shock pad that we do not currently have under the turf. This is a new piece that they recommend. It's supposed to help with any type of impacts, and whether those impacts be soccer or be football related or any other type of impact, that pad is supposed to help. Includes the new markings, the infill and installation, and that base bid of just the turf and nothing but the track is $844,950. Now, in looking at our track, we have several issues with the track currently, and I'm estimating from what Mr. Kaloff had talked to us about, it's been over 20 years since we've had a complete mill and repave on that asphalt surface of the track. So we're definitely due. So we started to ask for numbers on what that would take. So for us to do, and I'll jump down to alternate 3, an asphalt mill and repave, and that would be a mill and repave of a 4-inch asphalt base of the 49,500 square feet would be an add-on of $305,000. Then we looked at the surface on top of the track, and we were really looking at the polyurethane track surface, which is not what we currently have, but it's a little higher grade track surface, and that would be about a 3/8 polyurethane base mat and structural spray. It says in purple. We have honestly been leaning towards black rather than purple, just for the fact that we're concerned with fading with the color purple. Black, you would think being dark it would fade, it doesn't fade as bad. So we asked them to show us some of the purple. It looks great for the first couple of years, and then it starts to with your purple on your field, then your track starts to fade quicker, and you just get a weird dynamic there. So we're thinking going black with the color, and that would be about $470,250 for the polyurethane surface. The polyurethane surface is a higher grade surface. It really is. It would be an investment in your track. It will hold up a little better, but we would only do that if we were going to go ahead and do a mill and repave, which we have to do. So that's why that option options on the table. Alternate 4 is the 365 maintenance program for MOS. It gives us 7 years, and we would take advantage of that at $19,250. We did that last time, and we ended up extending our field well beyond the 10 years of life, so we would want to take advantage of that if we're going to make this kind of investment. The alternate 5 then is the new asphalt, and then we went out and Mr. Moritz was really, and Mr. Kaloff really wanted to see us. There's a section of grass in between the end of the track and the fence. And it's just this little strip all the way around. And it allows surface water and some other things to get in there. And they would really like to take the asphalt all the way up to a curb, and then a new fence in the curb, and then the track is all the way to the fence. That track will not be running lane. It would be extended room for that last running lane. But it would also keep us from having to pull a push mower in and push mow that little, I know it sounds like not that big a deal, but it's more of the water issue that we're getting underneath the track on that side. That would keep that out. And that would be with the saw cut, and excavating of the perimeter, installing stone base, curb, asphalt, the 4-foot fencing and new track servicing, that's another $375,000. Alternate 6 came about when we started to talk about power on the field. There is no power at the field, and so they wanted to, while they're doing this, install and bring in some power boxes. So they've got the comm boxes and conduit. They're going to install 4 comm boxes for field infrastructure, and that's an additional $30,000. While they're in there tearing it up is the time to do it. That was really brought about by all coaches, that there is something every season, whether it be fan, heater, or whether it be timing system. When the timing system comes and takes care of track, we're having to do a lot of extension cords now out of the stadium, and that would keep us from having to do that. We do have, in alternate 7, we do have a piece of curb that over time on the football side has kind of, looks like there's been a freeze under there and a heave, and that would be fixed for $5,500 also. So the current selected scope of work, excluding alternate 1, which I'm going to speak about in a minute, would be a total of $2,049,950. This is in your already received 2024 bond. So you have the funds on hand. So you can schedule this to start with turf installation as soon as the football season is over. Then you can do your track as soon as track season is over, and that's how they would like to do it. So going back to alternate 1, that is the question mark. It is called Game On Integrated Turf Graphics. So on your design, anywhere, for instance, a line, whether it be a white line, a soccer line, or your Marion logo or your Marion Giants words, they are cut out and they are sewn in. So the G in Giants is its own piece, cut out and sewn into the carpet that way. Where you will have your seams or areas of trouble will be usually where those are. So all your yardage lines, all those markers, those are different pieces that are cut in. Any different color is cut in right now. They have a new all-in-one where they basically put the graphic all on the carpet before it ships out and comes here. And that is an additional $99,000. And you can get unlimited styles of logos. So there are some pretty crazy ones that we didn't bring to you because our coaches and our administrators felt very certain they wanted to keep it very traditional. But you wouldn't believe what they could do. Like they can change the color of the turf to have the giant look like it's a watermark in there somewhere, or they could put the giant where you kick as you kick off each time. But we kept it very simple. In talking with Mr. Kaloff, why would you even consider the $99,000 add-on? It would not be cut in anywhere. It would all be one piece. So, I asked Did we have a lot of trouble last time with what we had? Not really. Where we did have our issues were where there were cuts and seams, but most came in and fixed them, usually that day. So this is a discussion item for you guys to look at. It's not an action item tonight, but I would just, if you wanted to do the 99, you have the funds. If you want to add on alternate one, you have the funds. But you could also say, where else do we want to use that 99,000? So that's what we put together for your consideration. So if you have questions tonight or before the next meeting, let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Mealy. Are there any public comments on this topic? Board comments or questions or anything? Okay.
Can I ask a question? I don't know when the right time is. Now is a good time?
Go ahead, Dr. Hart.
This is great about the field. Is there a corollary about the stands? Are we going to do something with the stands with this money?
I believe this money is not. We're looking at a lot bigger project, a lot more detailed stuff that we've got to get together before we get there. That the stadium project is an enormous monster that we're going to have to address in the next several years, and that is not part of this package. Does that sound right, Mr.?
Yeah, we have looked at we have twice now, I've looked at the stadium with just Mr. Califf. We have not brought in anybody officially because of this project. First was with the field and the impact testing piece, wanting to make sure we get a field that passes that impact testing. So the stadium is really next on the list, along with some other things, to make sure we get maybe a couple engineers in there to look at it, to see what we need to do, whether the board has options of do they remodel or do they completely build new.
Yeah.
And so you guys need those options to see what that's going to look like.
Yep. And as long as we would pass some of this for next board meeting, we are on schedule that we could get this turf replaced then at the end of football season this year, and have the track replaced, whichever pieces we would decide at the end of this track season.
We will have to do some track repair for this season. Lane, is it 8? Last lane, out by the fence right there, it is eroding off. So we're gonna have to do some patchwork there to get through this.
I know it's not in this item, but when you had them give us numbers on the turf for the field, did we get numbers for turf on the softball diamond on what that additionally could be?
They are getting that for me.
Okay.
They put this piece together first, but no, they did ask. They also we're trying to do from a Google map standpoint what it would look like if we moved the field.
Okay.
So they're working on that too.
Good.
They didn't give us any guarantees. It was going to be very, very tight if we did move it.
Sure. But those are in the works as far as looking at those situations.
We do have fencing coming in right now for the entire the exterior of the field. We have quotes on that. We have quotes on batting cage, a single and a double batting cage that we're collecting now, and that's planning to come to the board soon.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
I'm asking the questions because I really would like to see a comprehensive plan for our athletic facilities. We do things piece by piece, but that's okay. But I'd like to see a comprehensive plan that includes a field house and everything, so that when future boards sit together, we know the direction that we're going. I think also that the larger the plan, oftentimes the more excitement comes for donors who are interested in giving. And we have donors all across the country, some of whom are quite wealthy. I was talking to one person the other day. He said, well, you know, there are a lot of people that could write $1 million check. Well, okay, let's make sure that we find those people.
I will fly to where they are.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. Public comments. I believe Jocelyn Whitaker is here to speak this evening.
Good evening, everyone. And what I'm going to discuss with you falls right in line with what Mr. McNeely was discussing, football fields and track improvements. What I'm talking about is the impact. We have a lot of children, and we need to build this into whatever we do with athletics. We have an after-school program that is feeding in from our elementaries to McCullough. McCullough does not have outside restrooms, so that means a person has to go into the building. And most parents are watching their older children and sending the younger children into the building. That's a safety hazard. What if there is someone there who is not in good standing and that child is in that building by himself? What if that child decides, I have a marker and I am going to write on the wall? There are so many what ifs. The plan should include, and I did not know you were going to have this on the docket tonight, but I've had 3 phone calls about the whole situation. These are the things I think we need to look at in the scope, since this is going to impact our students who are at McCullough and our elementary students, because we have a feeder program now, and those feeder programs are working in. Do we have enough lighting? Do we have outside restrooms? Do we have security at every game out on the field? Do we have security in the building when children are going into buildings unaccompanied? What about the scope of the work? And that should be included in what you're looking at for the athletic field. If we want a total look at what is happening with our athletics. Now, we say children first, let's be for real. Athletics come first and then children. And, we can say it doesn't, it does. So if we're gonna say that, and if we say we really care about our kids, what are we doing about the facility at McCullough and making sure that it's a safe place for all kids? And we provide facilities, all new buildings that are being erected that have a separate building, have a standalone with restrooms and everything in the facilities right there. They're not sending kids into buildings. You forget, I was in that building for 11 years. We've already had one tragic accident that happened out there. Let's not have other tragic accidents. And these complaints came about from parents who have kids there now. So if we want to feed a program, we're going to have to put money into it. And I'm not saying use the money that you talked about, but something needs to be done. And when you look at the total program, you cannot just look at Marion High School. You need to look at McCullough also. Anywhere kids are, we need to make sure there's security, there's buildings for facilities that house restrooms and so on, concession stands and all. What are we doing there? And as I said, this is an impact study, and I'm glad it was on the agenda tonight, because I did not know. I was going on complaints from parents. I don't have a grandchild that's there. I had a son who went through there, who went through McCullough, also Marion High School. One accident can sink us. While we're on this, Mr. McBilly, what, and I didn't question at the time you were going over our indebtedness and so on, what bonds do we have still that will come due this year?
We're not really supposed to address anyone on the board. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is we needed to know that, where our indebtedness is still. And that will also impact the facilities for this physical plant that I'm talking about removing. See, all of this works together, not in isolation. So those are my thoughts. Those are concerns of parents. So you need to address them.
Thank you, Mrs. Whitaker. Appreciate it. Any other public comments this evening? All right, Marion Teachers Association, you're up.
Like you haven't heard it 1,000 times tonight, congratulations to the elementary teachers, staff, and the students. We're very proud of you.
Superintendent Lockwood.
I'm going to introduce somebody that was hired tonight on our consent agenda item. If April Evans could stand up, please. April was hired tonight as our HR director. April, forgive me, is it class of 93? 90, class of 90, okay. April is a 1990 grad of Marion High School. So welcome back to Marion Community Schools, and she is going to take over our HR Director position. Comes to us from HR at IU. So she's left the higher end to come back to Marion and help work with our community and our students and our staff, and we are very, very excited to have her. So if you want to say something.
We are so excited to have you, Mrs. Evans. It's going to be a long month waiting for you to get here, but we know it will be worth the wait. So.
Well, thank you so much. It's exciting to come back home. I've had an HR career for over 20 years in the public sector, in the private sector, in higher ed. And also, I'm excited to come back. I'm a product of Marion. I was born and raised here, class of 90, currently facilitating the coordination with some other people for our 35th reunion that we're headed for. So I'm excited to come back home and help make a difference here. So thank you so much. Excited to join you, ready to hit the ground running.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Very excited.
Anything else? Do you have anything else?
That's it.
Board comments.
What? Sorry. Oh, is he here? Oh, I didn't see him. I think we have an assistant principal that was hired tonight too. I'll let Mrs. Jones, thank you. I did not see him.
It is, to our defense, it is hard to see further back into here. The other day, Mr. Delgado was like, I didn't even know they were there because the podium was blocking, so yes.
Yeah, tonight we have Jason Grandeline here. He comes to us from East Allen.
Stand up, we can't see.
Yeah, they can't see. He'll be joining us at Kendall. So he's going to join us at Kendall in the coming weeks as our assistant principal.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Board comments at this time.
Yeah, I'd like to start out tonight in our consent agenda. We always accept our donations, and I'd like to mention what they were tonight. The Grant County Adex Post number 5 donated $500 to the Marion High School JROTC. We had an anonymous donor to donate $200 to the Marion High School golf team. And then we had Atlas Foundry Foundation donated $500 to the Marion High School wrestling team. So we'd just like to keep that and everybody informed of what donations we actually get. And then also I would like to congratulate all the students, obviously, that were here tonight for the I Read 3. That's very awesome to get good news like that. Congratulate the teachers for all their hard work for doing that. That's incredible, and we know that it'll just keep getting better. So I wanted to thank everybody for that.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
I too, go ahead, we'll go in line. I have notes of so much, but congratulations to the kids, and I like what Ms. Morrell said, with the right support, every student can thrive, and I like that, and I'm hoping that we can get a lot of support from the community mentors to help our students. Hats off to the iRead students who really did a great job on that. I agree with Dr. Hart, a comprehensive plan for athletic department. I'm just skipping around. Welcome, April, and the new vice principal I can't see back there. Welcome. That's it. Just thank all the teachers that were here, and I love it that all the buildings work together. We've been liking to see that for the last couple of years, so we appreciate you guys working together and making it more cohesive and consistent from building to building. And I remember the Pizza Hut reading program that kids read. Do they still have that?
No.
Get free pizzas? I never had to cook those days.
Book it.
Yeah, book it. That's the name of it. But yeah, just great job, everybody. And I'm glad that we're off to a good start 3 weeks into it. Thank the bus driver. They're gone already. The bus drivers, I was just saying, I couldn't drive with 2 kids in the car, let alone a bus full of students. So hats off to the bus drivers that just left and the longevity that they have given to Marion Community Schools.
Thank you, Mrs. Gold.
I can count on my hand the many times that I've been speechless in my life. One hand. When I see this result of this iRead across the board, I'm blown away. I mean, I don't know what to say. I thank you, teachers, for continuing, Advent as well, so continuing to show up for our kids and pour into our kids. Mr. Neely, I'd like for you to find somewhere in our budget to buy every billboard in Marion, maybe even a blimp, something to just spread this word, to let people know the great things that we're doing here at Marion Community Schools because of you folks. I'm very, very thankful to you guys. This is just amazing. I'm gonna put this on my fridge. Obviously, the bus drivers, those were some of the greatest people in my life when I was coming up through Marion Community Schools. I can't say enough about them. I'm thankful for their service. April, very excited to have you. Look forward to working with you. Assistant Principal Jason, I didn't catch his last name. Jason, Principal, Assistant Principal, welcome.
Mr. G.
Mr. G, got it. And then all the students that were recognized here individually tonight, just amazing that those kids were able to attain scores like that. Again, going back to what you guys do for them on a daily basis, it's just amazing. And finally, I'm thankful for the colder weather. Looking forward to Friday night football, chili, that whole thing. So that, we're off to a great start here this year. And again, Dr. Hart, I agree with you as well. A comprehensive study to look at anything and everything that we have in terms of facilities that we have to offer here. I think we should take a look at because our kids deserve the best of everything. So,
Thank you, Mr. Delgado.
I just want to kind of echo what everyone else has said and welcome April, welcome Mr. G. And to recognize all those kids. I remember when my kid was in 3rd grade and she was up here, got a perfect score, and she still was talking about it. Some of the teachers and the impact that you guys have on their lives, and just from the moment that they step in your classroom until, she just graduated from Marion this year, and you guys are still making an impact on their lives, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys very much for everything that you guys do.
I had a conversation with Rhiannon and Alicia several years ago, and my wife and I had volunteered at Francis Slocum in the reading program, and I asked Rhiannon, how about will we be graduating 4th graders who can read, who will get into the system, who do well? And she said, Dr. Hart, just wait a couple years, we're working on it, and it'll happen. And I'm just very glad that it has happened now, and it's happened in all 4 of our elementary schools, and I commend you. I'm obviously not speechless. I could go on and on, but I won't. I'm very happy. I think that this needs to get into the city's conversation. It's not just a recognition at the city council, but it needs to be a part of the city's talk about itself. That if you live here to Marion, Indiana, you can be assured that whatever your child's challenges are, they will be addressed in our school system, and your children will thrive. I think I can say that it's not at all a baseless boast, as the teachers like to say. The data shows it. This is an evidence-based statement, and I'm very glad. I also am absolutely excited about what's happening in the high school and the GRCC, the opportunities that we give to our students to grow, and even we push them. We encourage them. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And sometimes that's all they need to do. And then my last comment is, please talk to your friends about these things that are happening. I was in a meeting on Monday, and there were just 5 or 6 of us there, and I talked about some of the outstanding things that are happening at the GRCC. I realize that's 4 school districts plus Elwood, but it's based here, and it's leadership from our high school that's doing the work. And those people were shocked, pleasantly shocked, to hear about the great things that are happening. And then, those are the people who like to talk. And they'll talk to everybody. that's why I say, please, everyone, talk it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Art. Much like you and opposite of Mr. Delgado, I have never been speechless either, often to my own demise. But I am excited so much of the great things that we're seeing in so many areas. We have to get back to being a little stronger cheerleader for our system and letting the public know the amazing things that are going out there, because they are, and it's impacting our kids every day. It's impacting our teachers. I've seen more joy in our teachers this year than I've seen in a while, and I think that's super exciting. It's showing that we're doing the things that we need to be doing. They're seeing the fruit of their labor and all of that, and I think that's going to just continue to flourish throughout our system as we grab a hold of a lot of this momentum. So the whole idea that you said, the quote of the students taking ownership, that just think about that. Students taking ownership. I mean, that to do that at a young level, that's hard enough for adults to do. But if we can teach that at kids, especially at an elementary level, enormous impact. So thank you guys so much. If there's no further business, our next board meeting will be September 9th, 2025 at 6:30 here in the boardroom. This meeting is adjourned.